Hi, my name is Yang. This is the final presentation video by 3D Printed Gears, 100% Infill. The team members are myself, Federico, Schiff, and Jonathan. In this presentation, we'll go over the problem introduction, design quality function deployment, functions and solutions, design iterations, operation demonstration, fabrication methods, and some final thoughts.
This semester in ME 2110, the class was tasked with designing and building a robot that would solve a series of Toy Story themed tasks, each of which would reward the team with points. The more points the robot achieves, the better the team performs. The problem description given to the students was to build a robot that could do the following 4 tasks. 1. Rescue Buzz Lightyear, which means retrieving a wooden cube from inside a red circle without displacing the 3D printed alien figurines surrounding it. Number 2. Launch a rocket. This involves raising a 3D printed rocket to a minimum height of 42 inches without throwing it. Number 3. Return 3 RC cars to a specified marked slot inside the centerpiece. And number 4. Return a bouncy ball into a square cutout of a minivan sitting atop the rotating centerpiece.
Since resources such as time, budget, power, and volume are limited, deciding how to focus these resources allows for a more efficient design. The first step is using a house of quality to connect customer requirements or qualitative aspects that the design must have with engineering requirements, which are more quantitative aspects. The house of quality for this design illustrates what aspects of the design are most important. For our robot, the highest priority customer requirements are to clear the go-no-go gauge, to not touch the centerpiece, and to stop after 40 seconds. The engineering requirements that fulfill the mentioned customer requirements are the number of tests conducted with a priority weight of 21%, movement precision with a priority weight of 12%, and runtime with a weight of 11%. These are a few of the traits that are prioritized in the design process to maximize our resources and points earned in the competition.
From the house of quality, we move on to the specification sheet, which enumerates each requirement that the robot must meet or exceed. These include the ones from the house of quality, but also from other sources such as calculations and standards if they are available. A few items that are important from the specification sheet are geometry, quality control, and schedule, as these are demands that must be fulfilled by the robot for the competition. The geometry and schedule specification comes from the project description, and the quality control spec comes from the number of tests conducted requirement from the HOQ.
Now, with the knowledge and focus necessary to efficiently design a robot to complete the tasks within the constraints of the problem, we move to apply these and come up with specific functions that need to be completed and the methods by which we approach those functions with a function tree and morphological chart. We enumerate each function that the robot needs to perform at the lowest level of the function tree. These are the functions off of which we will base the mechanisms. At the lowest level, we see that we have 16 different functions to be performed, and for each of these, we have multiple design options in the morphological chart.
In the morphological chart, various solutions to each function are illustrated and labeled. Design alternatives were created by choosing one solution for each function and merging them together into one design. After having evaluated 4 different options, a preferred design was chosen by a unanimous team decision. In the end, the chosen design was the one with a scissor extension mechanism to retrieve Buzz, a cascading lift mechanism for the rocket, a pneumatic kick for the RC cars, and a flip-out rotating arm for the toy ball.
Throughout the design process, we went through multiple fabricating and building iterations. The initial plan to save Buzz involved a scissors extension arm moving out, grabbing Buzz, and moving back. Did not function as expected, so we decided to come up with a different approach. The new approach is to use a combination of 2 mouse straps to kick Buzz back. You will see how it operates in this next section of this video.
The mousetrap mechanism consists of a system of two mousetraps, one on the top and one on the bottom. The top mousetrap is held in place by the anchor bar, and the bottom mousetrap is held in place by a connecting string that runs down from the top mousetrap. Now let's look at the operations of the top mousetrap. When the right time comes, this hook, which is connected to the anchor bar, will be pulled by an actuator, which in turn will activate the top mousetrap. Because of the connecting string, once the top mousetrap is activated, the bottom mousetrap is also activated. Now let's look at both of them in action. Again, this hook will be pulled by an actuator, and this plastic box can be considered as buzz.
The RC car's depositing mechanism consists of a pneumatic actuator that acts as a kick when activated by a switch. When the correct switch is activated by the spinning beacons, the valve opens and compressed air rushes into the chamber and rapidly extends the piston. The piston will then kick the cars into the correct slot.
The cascading lift mechanism was chosen to raise the rocket. The lift is made out of drawer slides, door rollers, aluminum C-channel, steel cable, and 3D printed gears. The entire structure is powered by a 12-volt DC motor. Once the motor starts spinning, the winding gears and the spool will rotate counterclockwise and wind the steel cable, with one end fixed to the spool and the other end fixed to the anchor point. The lift operates from right to left, meaning the rightmost slide goes up first and gradually progress leftward.
The toy return mechanism consists of a rotating arm with a hinge at the bottom. The arm is held in place with a pin near the top, a rubber band in tension with one end attached to the arm and one end attached to the base. When the pin is pulled by an actuator, the tension pulls the arm forward until it hits the stop bar. The momentum will carry the ball forward. Most of the fabrication was split between two methods, 3D printing and laser cutting. For the frame of the robot, laser cutting allowed the team to quickly and accurately make the necessary pieces. Since we had access to laser cutters in the invention studio, we made good use of it throughout the process of creating and iterating through the design of the robot. We also used 3D printed parts for irregularly shaped objects we designed, such as the gears and the winding spool.
In future iterations of this project, we would like to go through the full competition and fabricate every mechanism for the tasks described in the problem. With this, we would be able to determine if the design that we have come up with is actually a viable method to effectively perform each task and remain competitive against other robots in the class. Another thing moving from this project we would like to keep in mind is that being able to test each mechanism and program before each competition is important to ensure that we are on the right track. Regular and numerous test runs for each mechanism are imperative to understand how to tweak the design. This has been 3D Printed Gears 100% Infill. Thank you for listening to our presentation.